Greetings, it's Max So Diddly here, and today I am going to be showing you how to write a record to a CSV file using Python. So a little disclaimer, when I say write into a CSV file, what I mean is we're going to be writing data, that's text, and separated by commas. This can work with a CSV file, but it can also work for text, DAT, and many other file formats. I'll be using a text file though for the demonstration with the CSV format. So let's get right into it. Firstly, if you're in Visual Studio, you can right click on your project and click Open Folder in File Explorer. Here is where your Python project will run when you run it in Visual Studio, and I'll be putting my text file in here. You may be wondering, but Max, where is the text file? Well, if you write data to a file, but the file doesn't exist, the file is created, then the data's written. So it'll be created when we hit play. You can put the file wherever you want, just make sure you get the file path correct, and if you're not in Visual Studio, you'll have to do something else to find this folder. Let's get into the code. My record equals square bracket, string, comma, string, comma, string, square bracket. This is an array. It represents a record, and it's going to consist of 3 fields. Each one will have its own little value. Then we're going to do file equals data.txt. This is the file we want to write to, and then we're going to call a write record to file function, and it's going to have my record and file passed in. So let's define that function. So up here we do def write record to file, bracket, record, comma, file path, brackets, colon. So we're defining a function called write record to file, and we're going to pass in our record array and the file path we want to write the data to. After that, we are going to be doing a try except statement. So we're going to try a bunch of code. If something goes wrong, execute what's in the except statement, and then print out the exception. So if something goes wrong, the program won't crash, and we can print out what went wrong. Inside the try statement, we're first going to do record to write equals empty string, and then we do for field in record, record to write equals record to write plus field plus comma. So basically this comma is the delimiter, and we're going to be using this to separate each field of a record. It can be whatever you want, just make sure it's not going to exist in the data you plan to be working with. Like if you've got people putting commas in their age, then that's going to kind of break your system. So maybe you want to do a bunch of slashes or a string of characters, but we're using a comma to keep it simple. And we do record to write equals record to write plus field plus comma, because we're basically going to be we're going to be combining this array, and it's going to consist of a field, comma, a field, comma, a field, and so on. And this works for any length of fields in your record. So if you had 5 in here, this code would work exactly the same. If you had 6, it would work the same. If you have 3, of course it's going to work the same, because this is what I'm doing in the tutorial. After that, I'm doing record to write equals record to write, square bracket 0 colon -1 square bracket. This is going to be us removing the last character of this string, because it's going to actually have a comma, and we don't need a comma at the end because after the last field in our record we have a new line, so we don't actually need a comma, so we're just removing it. And now, the code you have been waiting for. We are going to be writing this data to the file. So we do with open file path a as file to write to. And then we do file to write to dot write record to write plus new line. So basically, we're going to be using a with statement as we create our file writer object, because with this with statement, we don't need to worry about closing this file writer, as it will close when we finish executing the with statement. And this A stands for append, meaning when we write to the file, we're going to be adding to that file, not overwriting it with the new data. And file to write to is the name of our object. And we do new line because we need to add a new line, and this is the best way to do it to make it compatible with more platforms. And that's it for this tutorial, so we're going to hit Ctrl S to save our work and hit play. Nothing bad seemed to happen there, that's good. So let's check out the file. As you can see, data.txt has now emerged. We double click on it, and it added the record on a line. So we're going to put in 1, 2, 3, 4. We are then going to put Bob, and we're going to put 69 because we're mature adults. And nothing bad happened, which is good. Let's check on that file again. And it added it onto a new line. Now let's add an extra field to this record. We're going to put 420 because we are hilarious and are stuck in 2017. We're going to play. And it works with more fields. So thanks for being a great audience. Be sure to leave a like in the comment if you enjoyed and subscribe if you want to see more Python tutorials. Thanks for watching.